The Cauldron of Curiosities would like to welcome the merry month of May. We're exploring the hedgerows of Cornwall and looking at how these trees and plants can help with self-care and intertwine a weaving of stories, poems and songs that resonate with where we live. Today, we welcome the apple tree. When I was travelling in Wales last year, I found a lot of apple trees, and they were often in places that I didn't expect to find them, especially along the coastal path. And I did wonder if this was where people maybe had left their apple cores. But there were quite a large number of these apple trees, and there were newly formed apples upon them, not quite ripe, and they weren't ready for me to pick and eat. But when I returned to Cornwall to see my parents, we were walking along a local pathway, and within the hedge of hawthorns there were several apple trees, and we did notice they were quite small and hard. They hadn't taken on the water from the rain as well as they could. But what they've done in the village that my parents live in is they have created an orchard of apple trees. So it will be interesting to see how those apples survive. The myth of the apple tree is that it's long been symbolic of knowledge, temptation and immortality. In Norse mythology, the goddess Idun kept apples that gave the gods eternal youth. You may well have heard of golden apples. The apple also symbolises the cycle of life, death and renewal, like the apple blossom, signalling the beginning of a fruit-bearing season. There is a song called Apple Blossom by the White Stripes, a song that captures the innocence and simplicity of the apple flower. And finally, A Drop Fell on the Apple Tree by Emily Dickinson. A drop fell on the apple tree, another on the roof. A half a dozen kissed the eaves and made the gables laugh. A few went out to help the brook that went to help the sea. Myself conjectured were they pearls, what necklaces could be. The dust replaced in hoisted row, the birds jocose sung, the sunshine threw his hat away, the orchard's spangles hung. The breezes brought dejected and bathed them in the glee. The east put out a single flag and signed the fate away. So that's an interesting one. It sort of is there about envisioning the raindrops and how they change the way that the apple tree might look, especially when the sunshine catches those drops. I would like to know what you thought about that. The apple, as we said, is a symbol. We should think that as the apple tree gives blossom, fruit, shade and its sweetness, you're reminded that you too are enough, just as you are. The apple tree is a call to embrace your wholeness, not just your productivity or your usefulness to others. The message for you is you are not just one part of yourself. You are the blossom, you are the fruit, you are the roots, you are the sweetness. Take time to care for all of you, the parts that shine and the parts that are still growing and the parts that are still to come. Accept your complexity and let it nourish you. Think about preparing a nurturing meal with your apples. You might want to slice the peel off and eat it separately so that you can taste each part and the tartness and the sweetness and the texture of the apple's flesh, and treat it as a ritual of self-worth. You might then reflect on where you may be giving too much of yourself, where you're offering your fruit but no one is nourishing you in return, and how can you restore that balance? In your journal, you might want to record, what does that wholeness mean to me? And how can I ensure that balance in my life now? Why not go and find an apple tree? Where's your closest apple tree? Sit underneath its branches and look up through to the blue sky if the sun is shining. What do you see? What do you feel? Embrace the energy, the fullness of the apple tree and the potential it has, and think on how that embraces your own life. Notice how that resonates with you. Close your eyes and think back to the times where you've had beautiful moments with apples or apple blossom. Tomorrow we will meet another guide from the hedgerow, but today allow the apple tree to keep you company. Thank you for walking with me.